Good morning. We are reading The Last Vampire by Christopher Pike. Our last vampire, Alyssa, just escaped. Slim. She demolished the army. Now she is searching for Slim's employer. I wonder who it is. Someone very powerful, I think. Why? I don't know why. Maybe he looks for you. But is he on the West Coast now, in Oregon? I don't know. He is telling the truth. But you were taking me to him tonight, weren't you? I don't know. Oh, we're still there. Okay. She's asking the leader, Slim, a bunch of questions. But you were taking me to him tonight, weren't you? I don't know. We were to drive you to San Francisco. I was to call from a certain phone booth. I can give you the number. It is in Switzerland. I say it. He gives me the number. I consider. I faxed you in Switzerland earlier tonight. Yet you were here. It is possible Graham is here as well. It is possible. We have relays. Do you have a business card, Slim? What? A card? Give me your card. My wallet is in my front right pocket. I rip away his pocket. So it is. I stuff the wallet in my back pocket. My pants are soaked with blood. Some of my own, some of the woman's. In the distance, I hear two of the men coming my way. Farther off, I hear a police siren. Heading south on Coast Highway. The men hear it as well. I can practically read their thoughts. They are so obvious. This man is a monster. If she has Slim, Slim is dead. She will probably kill us if we do not catch up with her. The police are coming. We'd better get the hell out of here and chalk it up to a bad night. The men reverse their direction, back toward the gas station. I lovingly stroke the sides of Slim's face. Of course, there's no possibility I will let him live. Why do you work for Graham? I ask. The money. I see. Tell me what Graham looks like. He is tall, 6'3" maybe. His hair is dark. He wears it long. Now I am the one who trembles. What color are his eyes? Blue. Pale blue. Yes. They are frightening. My voice whispers. Like mine? Yes, God. Please don't kill me. I can help you. Miss. I can help you, miss. I really can. Yaksha. Does you remember where Yaksha is? He's her creator. It is not possible, I think, after all this time. The stories, why did I listen to them? Just because they said he was dead. He probably invented them. But why does he come to me now? Or is that the most foolish question of all? These people had orders to shoot if I so much as burped. He must want me dead. He must be afraid of what Krishna told him. You have helped me enough, I tell Slim. He pants. What are you going to do? Don't do it. My fingers reach down to his throat. My long nails caressing his big Venus beneath his veins. Oh my goodness. Beneath his flesh. I told you what I am. And I am hungry. Why shouldn't I suck you dry? You are no saint. You kill without conscience. At least when someone dies in my arms, I think kind thoughts about him. He cries, "Please, I don't want to die." I lean over. My hair smothers him. "Then you should never have been born," I say. I open him up. I open my mouth. I take my pleasure slowly. Vampire. Chapter 7. The body I bury beneath the stream. It is a favorite place of mine. Police seldom look under running water. I hear them in the distance. The law at the gas station. Maybe two black and whites. They have a shootout with the boys in the limos. The boys win. I hear them tear away at high speed. They are clever. I believe they will get away. Yet, if I want them, I will have them later. More police can be heard approaching. I decide to exit the forest the back way. I jog through the trees, setting cross-country records. 6 miles later finds me at a closed gas station on a deserted road. There's a phone booth. I think of calling Seymour Dorston, my archery buddy. It is a mad thought. I would do better to keep running till I find a busier road. A few parked cars. I can hotwire any car in less than a minute. I am soaked through with blood. It would be madness to involve Seymour in this night's dirty business. He might tell his mother, yet I want him involved. I trust the little guy. I don't know why. Information gives me his number. I call. He answers on the second ring and sounds alert. "Seymour," I say. "This is your new friend, Laura." He is pleased. "What are you doing?" "It's 4 in the morning. I have a little problem I need your help with." I check the street sign. I'm at a gas station on Pinecone Ave. I'm 6 miles inland from Seaside, maybe 7, due east of the city. I need you to come get me. I need you to bring a change of clothing for my pants and sweatshirt. You must come immediately and tell no one what you are doing. Are your parents awake? No. What are you doing awake? How did you know I was awake? I'm psychic, I say. I was having a dream about you. I just woke up from it minutes ago. You can tell me about later. Will you come? Yes. I know where you're talking about. Is it a Shell station? It's the only one on that road. Yes, good boy. Hurry. Don't let your parents hear you leave. She's very manipulative. Why do you need a change of clothes? You'll understand when you see me. Seymour arrives a little over an hour later. He is shocked at my appearance, as well as he should be. My hair is the color of a volcano at sunset. He stops the car and jumps out. What happened to you? He asks. A few people tried to rough me up, but I got away. I don't want to say any more than that. Where are the clothes? Wow. He doesn't take his eyes off me as he reaches back into the front seat. He has brought me blue jeans and a white t-shirt and 2 different sweaters, one green and one black. I will wear the black one. I begin to strip right in front of him. The boy has driven far and deserves a thrill. Laura, he says, simply amazed. I am not shy. I unbutton my pants and wiggle them down. Do you have a towel or some kind of old cloth in the car? Yes. You want to wipe off some of the blood? Yes. Get it for me, please. He gives me a stained dish towel. Now I am completely naked. The sweat on my skin sending off faint whiffs of steam in the cold night air. I clean my hair as best I can and wipe the blood from my breasts. Finally, I reach for the clothes he has brought. Are you sure you don't want to call the police? He asks. I am sure. I pull the t-shirt on first. Seymour chuckles. You must have had a bow and a few arrows with you when they caught up with you. I was armed. I finished dressing, putting my boots back on, and bundled my clothes together. Wait here a second. I have to get rid of these. I bury the clothes in the trees, but before I do so, I remove my car keys and Slim's wallet from my pants pocket. I am back with Seymour in 10 minutes. He is behind the wheel with the engine on, the heater up high. In this frail condition, he must get cold easily. I climb in beside him. My car is in Seaside. If you remember, Seymour has AIDS. He puts the car in gear. We head north. What made you call me? Your sexy mind. He laughs. You knew I was the only one in town who wouldn't immediately report you to the authorities. I'm curious about you keeping this private. Oh, I will. I smile and pat his leg. I know you will. Besides your sexy mind, I called you because I know you don't object to a little stroll on the wild side from time to time. He eyes me through his thick glasses. You may be a little wild even for my taste. You can't even tell me a little something about what happened. You would have trouble believing the truth. He shakes his head. Not after this dream I had about you. It was amazing. Tell me about it. Just wait. This is good. I dreamed you were on a battlefield and a whole army of demons was approaching you from every direction. They had all kinds of weapons, axes and swords and hammers. Their faces were hideous. They were jeering loudly, anxious to rip you to shreds. Where you were standing was a bit above the rest of the field on a grassy knoll, but the rest of the field was a reddish dust color, as if it were a plain on Mars. The sky was filled with smoke. There was only you against thousands. It looked hopeless, but you were not afraid. You were dressed like an exotic goddess. Your chest was covered with silver mail. You had a jeweled sword in your right hand, emerald earrings set in gold that chimed as you slowly surveyed the army around you. A peacock feather stood in your braided hair, and you wore tall boots made of fresh hide. They dripped with blood. You smiled as the front rank of the demons went to strike you. You raised your sword. Then you stuck out your tongue. My tongue? Yeah. This was the scary part. Your tongue was real long. It was purple, bloody. It looked as if you had taken a bite or two out of it. Then you stuck it out. All the demons froze and acted afraid. Then you made this sound at the back of your throat. It's hard to describe. It had a loud sound, nasal. It echoed across the whole battlefield, and as it reached the ear of each demon, he toppled over dead. Wow, I say. The part about the tongue naturally reminds me of the Yakshini. There is no question in my mind. Seymour is supernaturally sensitive to emotional states. More than that, he seems to have linked up with me somehow, formed an intuitive bond with me. Certainly, I have with him. I'm mystified. I cannot logically understand my great affection for him. It is not the same as my love for Ray, my passion for my son of Riley. For me, Seymour is like a younger brother, a son even. In 5,000 years, I have never had a child except for Lalita. I would like to play with this young man. Is there more, I ask? Yes, he says. But you might not want to hear this part. It's pretty gross. I do not gross out easily. After seeing you tonight, I imagine you don't. When all the demons were dead, you began to stride about the battlefield. Sometimes you would step on a demon's head, and it would be crushed, and the brains inside would ooze out. Sometimes you would stop and cut off the head of a demon. You accumulated a number of heads. You were making a necklace out of them. Other times you would find a demon that wasn't entirely dead. Then you would these you would grab by the throat and raise up to your mouth. He pauses for effect. You would open their necks with your nails and drink their blood. Doesn't sound so bad. He continues to amaze me. His dream is like a metaphor for the entire night. Anything else? One last thing. When you were through walking about and stood still, the flesh of the demons began to decay. In seconds they were nothing but dust and crumbling bones. Then the sky began to darken more. There was something in the sky, some kind of huge bird circling above you. It disturbed you. You raised your sword to it and let out a weird sound again, but the bird kept circling, getting lower and lower. You were afraid of it. It did not seem you could stop it. That hasn't happened yet, I whisper. Pardon? Nothing. What kind of bird was it? I can't be sure. Was it a vulture? Maybe. He frowns. Yeah, I think it was. He gives me an uneasy look. You don't like vultures? They are symbolic of a forsaken ending. I didn't know that. Who told you that? Experience. I sit silent with my eyes closed for a few minutes. Seymour knows not to disturb me. The boy saw the present, I think. Why couldn't he see the future? Yaksha is circling me. Closer and closer. My old tricks will stop him. My strength, my speed were never a match for his. The night is almost over. The day will soon be, but for us the day is the night, the time to rest, to hide, to despair. I know in my heart that Yaksha is not far. Yet Krishna said I would have his grace if I obeyed him, and I have. But what did he promise Yaksha? The same? I do not believe so. The scriptures say the Lord is mischievous. I think Krishna told him the opposite. I open my eyes and stare at the road in front. Are you afraid of dying, Seymour? He speaks carefully. Why do you ask? You have AIDS. You know it. He sucked in a breath. How did you know? I shrug. I know things. You know things as well. How did you catch it? You don't seem gay. You were staring at me too hard when I was naked. You have an awesome body. Thank you. He nods. I am HIV positive. I suppose I have full-blown AIDS. I have the symptoms: fatigue, skin cancer, bouts of parasitic pneumonia, but I've been feeling good the last few weeks. Do I look bad? You look awesome, but sick. He shakes his head. I was in a car crash 5 years ago. Ruptured my spleen. I was with an uncle. He died, but I got to the hospital in time. They operated on me and gave me 2 pints of blood. It was after the test for HIV was routine with all donated blood. But I guess this bitch slipped through the cracks. He shrugs. So I'm another statistic. Is that why you asked about fear of dying? It was one reason. I am afraid. I think anybody would be lying if he said he wasn't afraid of death, but I try not to think about it. I'm alive now. There are things I want to do. Stories you want to write. I interrupt. Yes. I reach over and touch his arm. Would you write a story about me someday? What should I write? Whatever comes to mind. Don't think about it too much. Just whatever is there. Write it down. He smiles. Will you read it if I write it? I take my hand back and relax into the seat. My eyes close again. I feel suddenly weary. I am not mortal. At least, I don't think I was until tonight. Yet now I feel vulnerable. I am afraid of death as everyone else. If I get the chance, I say. Ooh, the beginning of chapter 8. Ooh. Seymour takes me to my car and tries to follow me back to Mayfair, but I speed away at 100 miles an hour. He is not insulted, I'm sure. I warned him I'm in a hurry. I go to my mansion by the sea. I have not described it before because to me, a house is a house. I do not fall in love with them as do some mortals. The house is on the 20 acres of property and at the top of a wooded yard that reaches from my front porch all the way down to the rocky shore. The driveway is narrow and winding, mostly hidden. The house itself is mainly brick, Tudor style, unusual for this part of the country. There are 3 stories. The top one has a wide view of the sea and coast. There are many rooms of fireplaces and such. But I do most of my living in the living room. Ironic, living room. Even though it has wide skylights and I have yet to board up. I do not need a lot of space to be happy, although I have lived in mansions or castles since the Middle Ages. I could be quite happy living in a box. I say that as a joke. My tastes in furniture are varied. At present, I surround myself with lots of wood, the chairs, the tables, the cabinets. I sleep on a bed, not in a coffin, a grand mahogany affair with black lace canopy. I have gathered art over the centuries and have a vast and expensive collection of paintings and sculptures in Europe, but some of it in America. I have gone through phases where art is important to me, but I am not in one now. Still, I have a piano wherever I go. I play almost every day, and with the speed and agility. I am the most accomplished pianist in the world, but I seldom write music, not because I am not creative, but because my melodies and songs are invariably sad. I do not know why. I do not think of myself as sad as a sad vampire. Tonight, though, I am an anxious vampire, and it has been centuries since I felt the emotion. I do not like it. I hurry to my home and change, and then rush back out to my car. My concern is for Ray. If it is Yaksha after me, and I have little doubt now, then he may try to get me through Ray. It seems a logical course to me based on the fact that Yaksha probably first became aware of me through Ray's father. I now suspect Yaksha has been observing me since I first visited Mr. Riley's office. But why he didn't attack immediately, I don't know. Maybe he wanted to study the enemy he hadn't seen for so long, to probe for weaknesses. Yet Yaksha, more than any living or non-living being, already knows where I am vulnerable. I'm still in shock that he is alive. I drive to Ray's house and leap to the front door. I half expect to find him gone, abducted. For a moment I consider not ringing the doorbell, but to just barge in. I have to remind myself that Ray is not Seymour, capable of accepting anything that comes along. I knock on the door. Pat surprises me when she answers. The girlfriend is not happy to see me. "What are you doing here?" Pat demands. "I have come to see Ray." Pat must have called Ray's house while he was at my place, probably several times. She must have called not long after he came home. He probably invited her over to pacify her concerns, but she does not look that pacified. "He's asleep," Pat says. She starts to slam the door in my face. I stick out my arm. She tries to force it shut. Naturally, she is not successful. "Get out of here. Can't you tell when you're not wanted?" "Pat," I say patiently, "things are not as they appear. They are much more complicated. I need to see Ray because I believe he is in danger." "What are you talking about?" "I cannot tell you, not easily. I have to talk to Ray, and I have to talk to him now." I put my eyes on her. "Please do not try to stop me. It would not be a good idea." She cowers under my stare. I move to press her further, but it becomes unnecessary. Upstairs, I hear Ray climb out of bed. I wait a few seconds, then call out his name. "Ray!" I say. I hear his steps quicken. We both do. "He's mine," Pat mutters as we wait for Ray to arrive. She is sad, seemingly defeated already. Instinctively, she knows I have the power she does not, beyond my beauty. Her love for him is genuine. I can see that. A rare thing in a girl her age. "Have hope," I say sincerely. Ray appears. He has on sweatpants, no top. "What's going on?" he asks. "Lots of things. I need to talk to you alone." I glance at Pat. If that would be all right. Her eyes are damp. She lowers her head. "I can just go," she mumbled. Ray puts a hand on her shoulder. "No." He gives me a sharp glance. "I have to be careful. Tell me what it is." "It has to do with your father," I say. He is concerned. "What is it?" I am stubborn. "I must tell you alone," I add. "I'm sorry, Pat." Ray rubs her back. "Go upstairs to bed. I'll be up in a few minutes." Pat shakes her head, giving me a look as she leaves. I don't think so. When we are alone, Ray wants me to explain myself. "You told me you wouldn't hurt Pat," he says. "My coming here could not be helped. I have not been entirely honest with you, Ray. I think you suspect that." "Yes. You tampered with the file on my father's computer." "How did you know?" "When I turned on the computer, I know the size of the file. It was large. When I returned, most of it had been deleted." I nod. The file was about me. Your father was investigating me. He was hired by some people to do so. One man in particular. This man is dangerous. Tonight, he sent some people to abduct me. I managed to get away. I believe he may come after you next. Why me? Because he knows you are my friend. I believe he's been watching me today and tonight. Also, even though this man hired your father did not part company with him on the best of terms. How do you know that? The people who came for me tonight told me. What do you mean, they came for you? Were they armed? Yes. Then how did you get away from them? They made a mistake, and I am resourceful. I do not want to get into all that now. What is important is that you come with me now. I'm not going anywhere until you tell me where my father is. I can't. You don't know. I hesitate. It is not easy for me to lie to those I love. No. Ray is suspicious. His sense of the truth, and therefore of lies, is remarkable. Do you think my father is in danger? He asks. Yes. He hears the truth in that word. We should call the police. No. I grab his arm. The police cannot help us. You have to come with me. Trust me, Ray. I can tell you more once we are at my house. There we go. No. I grab his arm. The police. What will you do at your house that we can't do here? You will see, I say. Ray consents to my company to accompany me. He goes upstairs to say goodbye to Pat. I hear her crying and wonder if she will not shed a stream of tears in the days to come. I could be wrong. I could be bringing Ray into danger, not away from it. I scan up and down the street, but see nothing. Yet I feel my eyes on me, powerful eyes such as my own. I wonder if I am not reaching for Ray because I am afraid. Maybe afraid to die alone. Ray appears in a few minutes dressed. We go to my car. He has not seen it before and marvels that I have a Ferrari. We drive toward my mansion, and he wonders why we are not going the same way as before. I tell him I have 2 houses. I am very rich, I say. Is that one of the reasons my father was investigating you? He asks. Yes, indirectly. Have you spoken to my father? Yes. When? 2.5 days ago. Where? In his office. Ray is annoyed. You didn't tell me. Why did you speak to him? He called me into his office. Why? I have to be more careful than ever. He wanted to tell me that I was being investigated. He wanted to warn you? I believe so, but what? He didn't fully understand who hired him, the nature of the man. But you know this man. Yes, from long time ago. What's his name? He changes his name often. Like you. Race asks. The boy is full of surprises. I reach over and touch his leg. You are worried about your father. I understand. Please try not to judge me too harshly. You are not being completely honest with me. I am telling you what I can. When you say my father is in danger, what exactly do you mean? Would this man kill my father? He has killed in the past. The space inside the car is suddenly cramped. Ray hears beyond my words. Is my father dead already? He asks quietly. I have to lie. I have no choice. I don't know. We arrive at my house. No one has come while I was away, I can tell. I activate the security system. It is the most elaborate available on the market. Every wire of every section of the fence around my house is now heavily electrified. There are motion sensors and laser beams and radar tracking the perimeter. I know it will not stop Yaksha for a second if he wishes to come for me. At the minimum, he has twice my strength and speed. In reality, I think he is much more powerful than that. Ray wanders around my house, taking in the sights. He pauses and looks out over the ocean. A waning moon, a half full, hangs over the dark shadow of water. We face west, but behind us, in the east, I detect a hint of dawn. What next? He asks. What do you want to do next? He faces me. You are waiting for this man to come here. All right, with that, I stop for today. And if you like YA horror mystery adventures, that is spooky and creepy, like Goosebumps and Fear Street, and Are You Afraid of the Dark, you may like Vampire Juice. Okay. And here are a couple of reviews that I thought you may enjoy. I saw the author post this on TikTok, so I decided to read it. If your child is into horror, then this is definitely a good book. It's a step below Goosebumps and Fear Street, so it's a good introduction into those series. Language is simple and easy to follow. It's not very complicated. He uses short sentences to help ease the reading. I really believe that kids will enjoy it. Okay. When shopping for a costume for Halloween, Sean stumbles upon something called vampire juice. The clerk was acting real weird about it. What's so big about it? What was it anyway? To find out, he and his friend go through a dark cemetery and tunnel that was a little confusing. They definitely run into creepy things along the way. Of course, things get even creepier when with the vampire juice. It's a whirlwind wild of crazy events. It is definitely crazy. What kind of see little bit you can kind of see a little bit of a similar style to R.L. Stein's Goosebumps, a series I've loved and continue to love. The best parts were the actual vampire scenes in the end. I figured somebody was going to turn into a vampire. A nice YA horror read. Most excellent. I always love the reference to Goosebumps and Fear Street. Okay, well, thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow with another episode of The Last Vampire.